Good evening, everybody. This is Chaplain Kenneth. I'm glad that you're here with me. This is Time with Chaplain Ken. I'm glad you're with me tonight, and you could be anywhere else, but you're here with me, so it is a pleasure to be with you. Today we're going over the second step now for Al-Anon, and when you hear the words Al-Anon, it means the steps that the family members take. Remember, we looked at the first three steps already. For the drug addict or the alcoholic, and now we're looking at the first three steps for the family members, because this is a family disease, and by saying that, everybody is affected by the addiction. Okay, so if the family use proper tools and has some means to help themselves through this problem, and at least get on the same page as their loved one, if they're following a 12-step program, then both of them can find relief from the disease and the ravages of addiction. Now, when we're talking about the family part of the program, it is important that family understands they're not at fault for this, but there are some things that families do that kind of contributes to the chaos and adds to it. And in a good attempt, normally it is a good attempt to try to help. The problem is when we try to help too much, we're really not helping at all. So when we're looking at steps 1, 2, and 3 for the family member, it's important that we learn some principles so that we can learn to defeat the disease and we don't encourage the disease, okay, in trying to help. So the second step for the Al-Anon member is the same second step for the drug addict or the alcoholic, and it reads, we came to believe that a power greater than us could restore us to sanity. Quite simple. Like I mentioned the first time around, going through step 1 and 2 with the addict alcoholic, let me ask the family member, are you still powerless? We did step 1 the last time, and we came to see how powerless we were against this thing. Are you still powerless, or have you tried to take back the reins of control in trying to fix this problem that you're going through? So we have to intentionally, and the reason I ask that intentionally is because we have to intentionally remember that we are still powerless today as we were the day before. So in your second step, we have to admit that we've been in chaos, number 2, because the step reads like this. We came to believe that a power greater than us could restore us to sanity, us, the family member, because we have been going crazy trying to figure out how to fix this problem, haven't we? Yeah? Let's do some reminiscing. You probably have your own answers as well. You can write them in the comments below if you like, and we can talk about it that way. Number 1, you have to admit we're tired of the drama. Are you tired of the drama? Are you tired of the constant drama where you don't have a moment's peace because there's always somebody spilling the milk on the floor? There's always somebody calling the house. There's always a bill collector. There's always some guy calling in the middle of the night. There's always somebody leaving in the middle. There's an empty room. The window's open. You could have sworn you screwed the window down shut so they couldn't escape out of the room. But guess what? They had screwdrivers in the room. They figured out how to get out. Yeah, that tracking device you put on their phone, they figured out how to turn it off. The job that they lost, the jail time, the fines you've had to pay. Are you done doing all that kind of stuff? I mean, this is the chaos and the drama that we're talking about. This is the sanity of the addiction, of what they pulled you into and you become a part of. It's become a normal part of your life. Are you done being responsible for their lives? Families need to understand that that the more they allow the addict and the alcoholic, the addicted loved one, to have more responsibility for their own behaviors, the better off they're going to be. Because before, remember, you're responsible. You paid the bill, remember? You paid the grocery bill because they ran out of food, because they spent it all on drink, or they blew it all on a run, or it was the day after payday and they went out and gambled it away. So you paid for the rent, or you allowed them back into your house and you let them live there because they had no place to stay. Are you done with that? Are you tired of that? Are you finished playing those kinds of roles with your addicted loved one? This is what the insanity looks like. So again, we're looking at kind of step 1 and 2 together once again. Do you remember the sleepless nights? Many a sleepless night wondering where they were. Wonder if they were ever going to make it back. Sometimes these runs they went on for weeks, didn't they? They went on for weeks at a time, and you didn't have no idea where they were, what they were doing, if they were alive, if they were in jail, if they had killed somebody, if they had killed themselves. You just didn't know, and so you were up night after night after night. And guys, if you're watching this and you've been in the grips of addiction yourself, and you think you haven't hurt anybody, somebody is staying up at night. Someone is staying up at night wondering where you've been, wondering what you're doing, wondering if you're safe, wondering if you're okay. Your grandmother, your mom, your dad, your brothers or sisters, your wife, your children are wondering, where's mommy, where's daddy? So it's not something that's been done under a bushel. No, it's been out in the open, and people have been crying over this. People have been worried for you. So the family members, let me get back to you guys. Are you done with the worry? Are you finished trying to fix your loved one who doesn't seem to want to be fixed right now? How's your health? What's happening to you? Is your hair getting grayer? Are you walking a little slower? Have you lost the energy? Are you tired before your time? How's your stomach? You got ulcers. Are you downing the Pepto-Bismol like it's candy? Have you been to the doctor for your own bottle of Xanax because your nerves are shot? Yeah, it goes on and on, doesn't it? So the family member has to come to the place where they realize that they are not in control of this. And they have to realize that they are powerless. So you're powerless. Number one, we came to believe that we are powerless over the addiction and what it's doing to us. So you have to come to a place where you admit you don't have the answers, and that this thing is beating you. So are you there yet? This is what step 2 challenges you to do for the family members. That you don't have the means, nor do you have the desire to carry on anymore. Are you there yet? Are you done? Are you finished? Are you realizing you can't handle this? But then step 2 comes along and says, but there is a power greater than you that can restore your life, that can help you restore your life to some sort of sanity. Where do you find this? Well, for those that aren't spiritually minded, don't have that spiritual background or history, or don't want to go there, go find your support group. Go find those families that have gotten through this. Learn from there, and you start going to Al-Anon meetings, and you find out people are going through the same thing that you're going through and have beat it how they're doing it. And just knowing that there's people that are there, that are out in the world, that have gone through what you're going through and have succeeded with managing their life a little bit better by using these principles in their lives, you begin to realize that the same thing can happen to you. So I want to encourage you, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. There are people that have succeeded, that have beat this thing, that are winning this battle, and they can help you. And once you connect with them and you find out who they are, and you find a good sponsor or a friend that can help you through these things, or a chaplain or a counselor or whoever it needs to be, find them, look for them, and get those answers that you're looking for. Because once you realize that you cannot do this, but there is a God that can, your struggle is over. Because it is no longer in your hands anymore. That there is a God that can help you. You start listening to those stories from other people, and you start hearing how God helps them. Stories like this. Loved one comes to you day after day, has needing help and trouble because they keep getting themselves into trouble. And the parent doesn't know what to do and dutifully helps because they don't want their loved one destitute. So groceries are bought, bills are paid, cars are co-signed for. You get in there to try to help your loved one because it's your only child. It's a real scenario. Your only child because you want to help them out, and you keep helping them out, and every time you help out and they get back on their feet, they mess it up. Because that's life. That's the life of the addict alcoholic, or anybody that's in chaos and is irresponsible. They end up damaging their own world. I'll keep it clean. They keep on damaging their own world, and you keep on bailing them out. And as long as you keep bailing them out, they'll never ever grow. You're limiting them to their growth potential when we keep on bailing out our loved ones. We take from them the opportunity for their own personal growth and maturity. That's what we're doing. We're robbing them of that God-given gift of maturity and learning and growing and becoming more and more responsible. So a good Al-Anoner would say, I can help you if the world has affected you, but if you have messed up your world, then you have to fix it. And if they can fix the problem without you on their own, that's a good hint to say, I cannot help you with this. And that's typically the rule. If they can do this, if we're taking away their responsibility and they're able to do what we can do for them, then let them do it. It's not your responsibility to do what they can do for themselves. So we stop enabling them, we stop rescuing them. Remember, we talked about that in step 1. So we stop enabling them, and we turn them over to a power greater than us and greater than them. Back to my story. This happened a number of times to this individual. It came to their attention that they needed to turn this person over to God, because they could not keep doing this because this child would never learn. And as tough as it was for this person, they knew they were right, that counsel was correct, because as long as he was playing God for his loved one, God was taking it back the door, taking a step back and saying, okay, let me know if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, I'll be here. But yeah, this ain't gonna work because you're trying this. So this person ended up having to tell their loved one, I cannot help you. And I know it's easy to do that in clinical circles, to say, well, you just need to draw your boundary and say no. Easier said than done. When it's your loved one, and when it's your baby, when it's your only child, when it's your only daughter, your only son, and they need help, it is a difficult thing for a parent to say, I can't help you, son, I'm sorry. Tragic. It is tough. I get it. I know. But if you have a good support group behind you that can help you and encourage you, you'll find the strength to be able to say, yeah, I can't, but God can. Right? This is where your spirituality begins to meet the road. This is when it begins to get real. And this is what I admire about 12-steppers, Al-Anoners, or guys in the program. They are willing to go the distance and say, okay, I can't, but God can, because everything I've tried is not working. And they learn to surrender and give it over. And that's when their miracles begin to happen. So family, let me encourage you to believe that there is a God that can answer your prayers, because he will, once you get out of the way. If we get out of God's way, I promise you, he will get involved. He will not ignore his children. And when his children call out for him and say, I can't, Lord, I can't, please help me, and then we get out of his way, he will begin to do it. So back to the story. Father had to say no, had to see the look on his sibling and his child's eyes. His heart was rending and wrenching, but he had to stay firm, and he had to tell him, I can't help you this time. You're gonna have to ask God to help you. Ever since then, no more problems, no more lost jobs, no more bail me out of jails, no more help me pay my tickets, pay my bills, no more, because God got active in his life, and it is completely turned around. Once that person learned to get out of God's way, God was able to bless in ways that this person could never ever think of or be able to bless their child. So it can happen. True story. Actually happened. So the challenge for step 2 for the family is to look inside and say, you know what, do I believe that there is a God that can help, that can solve these problems for my sibling, for my loved one? Once you come to believe and choose to believe that he can, then you got to let him. So then I encourage you to say, I cannot help you, or you can help yourself. Nope, I'm done cleaning up your messes. Nope, I'm not calling the boss anymore. That's on you. but I'll pray for you. I love you, care about you. Now, when we do these kinds of things, what we're doing is we're setting boundaries. We are lovingly detaching. And what that means is we're detaching with love. We're not doing this out of bitterness. If we're doing this out of anger, it's not going to work. If we are spitting at him, spiting, and just screaming at him and doing that, I'm not helping anyone. No, that's not the way we want to do this. We want to do this lovingly and know that you're turning them over to a power greater than you in them. And if they're on the same page and they're willing to go there, then and God is willing to go there with you and show you that he can really do what he promised you he can do. All right, but we have to get out of his way. So once you go to the meetings and once you start doing these kind of things, you begin to realize that you're not alone. Your loved one's addiction has kept you locked in a basement somewhere, hasn't it? You were not able to speak to anybody about these things, have you? Some of us for years, some of y'all for years have gone in the silence and suffered in silence, thinking you were the only one going through this junk. No, you go to these meetings, man, you're going to find a whole lot of people. And I promise you, you'll find these folks and you'll begin to realize, you mean I'm not the only one? And as you hear the stories, and in their part, because they've gone through this for quite a while, you hear the laughter behind the stories and the way they've solved their problems and the joy that they have in finding this recovery and letting God be God in their lives. Wow. You're going to find yourself in that place as well. And let me tell you, when I was working drug treatment, I would work with these guys that were working a great program. I'd sit with them in the break room, and they'd sit around and laugh at the drama and the chaos and the foolishness that they went through in order to stay sick. And we would have a fun time doing this. We would laugh and laugh and laugh because they found recovery. And you know what? When you look back at it in recovery, you just have to laugh because you realize that was nuts. That was crazy. You can find yourself there too. You'll find yourself with a lot of people that'll support you, that'll help you get you through this chaos, this drama. And more than anything, you will find a God that can do what he promised he can do for you. So don't give up hope, because when you find these folks and you find a good chaplain and a good counselor, you find hope for yourself as well. And then the drama begins to drop off, and then the chaos begins to stop, because you yourself are working your own program. Even if your loved one is not, you can still work this program and find peace for yourself, so that you can limit the drama. You can say, nope, that drama is not coming into my home this far and no further. No, you can take that somewhere else. I'm not going to put up with it anymore. You either have to go to a meeting or go home, something, but you're not staying here, and you're not going to bring me into this. So, because you have a right to have peace in your own home. Remember that we said that. So that's the challenge for step 2 for the Al-Anoners. I hope you guys are learning some things. Remember, you're powerless over this thing. Don't fight this anymore. Give it to God so that he can help you. And then you'll begin to see the miracles working in your life. And I promise you, they will begin to happen. They will, once you allow God into your world and you let him have more and more access. As time goes along, your step 2 will get deeper and deeper, and your surrender will be deeper and deeper. But that's the third step, and we'll talk about that the next time. But for the second step, believe. Choose to believe. Come to believe. Dare to believe. Let me challenge you with that. Because then you begin to unleash the power of the universe in your life. And that's what you need in order to get through this, because this is a wicked, wicked thing. But God is much more powerful than anything you've been through. Okay? Alrighty, that's all I got for step 2. Step 3 is next, and that's the third step of surrender, and we'll talk about what that looks like next time. Thanks for joining me. You could have been anywhere else, but no.